Keith, I've known Keith for a very long time. We became friends in that famous school where, Your Excellency, we know you are our OB in that school in 1976, and I've been with him all through. But before I speak about Keith and his health, I'd like to thank you, Your Excellency, for what you have done for his health. Many of us may look at Keith that he has had this sickness now and he has passed on. But what has kept him moving all this time is the partnership the President established with Turkey when the President of Turkey visited Uganda, and we signed an MOU with one of the universities of Turkey that was a result of that visit. So we thank you for that partnership that you brought to Uganda, and Makerere in particular. And I became the coordinator of the program, which has seen more than 40 Ugandans treated at a low cost in Turkey. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. In 2018, Keith had some illness that he did not understand, and he tried several hospitals, and there was a suspicion that that was cancer. Uganda Cancer Institute thought, yes, it was a cancer, but what type of cancer, we could not tell. And he went to Aga Khan, it was the same. Through this partnership that you established, the team at the Uganda Cancer Institute contacted our partners in Chukrova Hospital in Adana, and he was referred there. And they made a diagnosis of a lymphoma. Now, this lymphoma, many of us, when you read about lymphoma, you say it may be simpler to diagnose, and many of them are easily diagnosed. But we found that it was traced from his young age when he developed what the Banyankwere call enteyabana. I think ekizimba ahabisya, the swelling that is always near the neck, and many Banyankwere put there a hot iron or something, and you remove the pus. That was the beginning of his cancer. But at the diagnosis time, the cancer was already in the bones. He underwent all the treatments of cancer that are known, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and every time they would treat him, he would improve, but would not recover. So the doctors in Turkey decided to give him a higher treatment, which was called stem cell transplant, or bone marrow transplant, as many people call it. This includes or is part of taking your own cells, your own blood. They remove the cells, grow them, put them back in your body to fight the cancer. It was given to him 2021, and he did very well. But just before they gave them to him, if I can go back a bit, there was COVID in Uganda and the whole world. As he was waiting for his cells, he developed COVID. And he was in the ICU for 3 weeks. And I traveled there, I found the wife, and he believed he was going to recover from COVID. He prepared himself, he said, I'm in ICU, I will recover, get my cells, fight the cancer. And he indeed recovered and fought the cancer, and he recovered and came back here. He was very resilient. He believed he would recover and come back and work. After the stem cell transplant, as some of you may have worked with Keith, he was a resilient man. Stem cell transplants, when they give them to you, you are kept in a place where you have no natural light for 40 days. So he never went outside his room to access natural light for 40 days. But I would talk to him, and he said, I will defeat this cancer and go back and serve my country, which he did, and he came back. When he came back and started working, he was going for checkups every 3 months. On the third round, they saw some cells in the bone, and they had thought all of them had been cleared. And they said, first go back. When he came, he went to Aga Khan. Aga Khan, they saw them also. Now they had increased. And when we discussed with Turkey, they said, our level is over. You can now access more treatment from either Seattle or Milan. And we had the UCI consultants sat with on the current Zoom, on a conference call, and in the presence of some consultants from Seattle who were here, it was discussed with the family, the wife, myself, and himself, and we realized that he needed that treatment. However, they needed to have a diagnosis. The family chose to go to Milan, San Rafael Hospital. When he went there in January, they investigated him as the Prime Minister said. He asked for permission. They found, yes, he had the cells. True, they were growing and they needed treatment. And they were able to decide on the type of treatment. This treatment is called CAR cell treatment, C-A-R-T cell treatment, which means they genetically modify your own T cells and introduce them in your body to kill the cancer cells. It is slightly higher than the stem cell transplant. He came back after they removed his blood, and after the cells were ready, he went back. They gave him all the possible complications, and among them were the worst ones, which one would fear and say, I'd rather die of this. But he said, I'd rather die of the complications than die of this cancer, because there were 40% chance, 40 to 60% chance recovery. First 10 days he did very well. We were talking, and he said, William, I have defeated this thing, and I'll come back with no cancer. You doctors, you must develop something, and we also cure the others. After 10 days, when I called him, he said, I'm actually not feeling well in my lungs. And the doctors have said it is because he had the other COVID. Fluids accumulated in his lungs, they put in a tube to remove the fluids. 2 days later, his kidneys started to fail. They put him on dialysis, they improved. The third day after that, the liver started to fail. They now became very worried. On the 5th day, he developed cells within his body that would now fight his actual blood cells. And these were his own cells turned against their own themselves. So he lost blood, he became anemic, the white blood cells were destroyed, his immunity went low, they transfused him, they tried to fight those cells. And as they were fighting them, the kidneys failed again. The liver failed. The lungs accumulated fluid. And the kidney and the heart also started failing. And as they were working on that, everything failed. All the systems, all the organs failed, and he passed on from what we call multiple organ failure. But he passed on peacefully. He didn't have pain, but this is a man that was resilient, and we hoped that he would survive this, and he didn't. Your Excellency, once again, I thank you for all the support that your government, and especially yourself, that you gave him as we treated him. But before I sit, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank one person called Janet Muhakanizi. She sat with this man while he was sick all the time, every day with him. And I remember when I visited him, he said, I sit with Janet, we talk the whole day, and at some point we have nothing to talk. We keep looking at each other. Janet, thank you very much for looking after our friend, our brother, and our father. I want to thank Honorable Prime Minister. I think we are here because she intervened. We wouldn't be here, we would be waiting more days. Thank you very much. Thank you, all of you, and thank you, Mr. President.